Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to another episode of the Nest Podcast. This is episode 64, the Jerry Kramer episode presented by Sportzilla. I'm your host, Brandon. Joining me is my co host, Justin. Justin, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Zach, of course, obvious his absence is noted. He had to work late and couldn't make it tonight. So Justin's going to be picking up the slack. And Zach and I will be coming back at you later this week with a World Series recap. Once it's finalized and we know who the winner is, Houston, then we'll come back on and we'll talk about it. And we'll also give our American League and National League guesses for MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and anything else that we can think of that's worth talking about. So we'll try to come up with another episode later this week to make up for his absence now. But as for now, let's kick things off with like a little segment, I guess. You said you wanted to bring a segment. I kind of want to bring a segment too. Let's talk about a couple of teams in the NFL that so far this season, it's been a fairy tale for them, and that's the 49ers and the Patriots, both riding the undefeated streaks through week 8. You know, the 49ers have already had their bye week, so they're 7-0, but they've made it all the way through the week. And they put a bludgeoning on the Carolina Panthers in London.
Yeah, bad.
I don't think a lot of people realized or wanted to or did give the 49ers respect until this week.
Yeah, I've actually got to watch them, so I knew how good that defense was. But they've yet to blow out a team like they did against the Panthers. And the Panthers, although Cam wasn't there, that's not a team that you normally. They got a pretty decent defense. For them to score 58 on them, uh, I mean, and Tevin Coleman, my ex Falcon, my boy, ran rapid all over them. I mean, like it was nothing. And then, not to mention, like I said, that defense is probably one of the top 3 defenses in the league. Them and the Patriots. That'd be a heck of a Super Bowl matchup.
And in every statistical category you look at, it's 1 and 2 across the board for the Pats and the 49ers, especially on that defensive side, because as nasty as the 49ers have been on defense, the Patriots have been better. Like
Yeah,
they've been historically good on defense.
they have. And I'm not saying this because I'm not even hating on the Patriots. They've been crazy good. The 49ers have actually played a little bit more talented of a roster, a little tougher. So it's not apples to apples right now. I think at the end of the season, I still think the Patriots might edge them because I've seen the schedule the Patriots have left, and it don't seem that tough. I mean, it seems like it would have been tough a year ago when they made the schedule, but all those teams that were good a year ago were kind of falling off this year, if that makes sense.
Sure, I'll nod to that, but still left on the schedule this coming week is the Baltimore Ravens. We've all
Yeah.
we've all been marveling all season long at how prolific that offense has been. And then later on in the season, the Patriots will face the Chiefs with presumably a healthy Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, when you posted that schedule, I kind of looked at it and I said the Ravens and then the Chiefs, but in between there, it's kind of they should just walk through it. I mean, those are going to be their 2 big contests before the playoffs. But I
Yeah,
don't think the Chiefs. I don't know, man. They unless they pick it back up, they're kind of on the downward hill too right now.
sure. I mean, yeah, they've lost 3 of their last 4, but you know, last night wasn't with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
They still hung with the Packers, so I don't know what that says more of, that the Packers really ain't shit or the Chiefs are just a good system and they plug in quarterbacks.
yeah. I think the Packers actually have a pretty good team. So I mean, I'm just going to say for now, until they prove me wrong, that they have a pretty good little setup. Andy Reid's kind of got them in the right place. I think Mahomes is just that extra piece that pushes them over the top.
Yeah, but I mean, Moore coming in looking pretty good. It does kind of make Mahomes' greatness a little questionable and maybe puts a little more shine on Reid's brilliance to have an offense.
Yeah, I mean, Breed's downfall has always been the playoffs. He's always been
He chokes.
wonderful in the season, and he chokes a big one in the playoffs. So until they get over that hump, I'd love to. I mean, don't get me wrong, my Falcons are 1-6 now. I mean, my God. And why in the world we haven't fired Dan Quinn? We're just like delaying the inevitable. It's going to happen.
I
But
think so too. I think he's definitely one of the guys on a hot seat, and Jason Garrett is definitely on a hot seat in Dallas. But I want to backtrack real quick. You said something about the Patriots. You're not as impressed with their 8-0 start because they really haven't played a stiff competition as the 49ers or whatever. It's not who you've played, it's how you've played them. And they've blown out the teams that they're supposed to blow out. And the teams that were supposed to be good, the Bills, a good division matchup for them. You build your team to play against the teams in your division. So that's always a tough assignment. So they've played those teams and beat those teams the way that they should have.
yeah, they have. And the fact that you just said the Bills and a good team is really weird. It's like I'm
But
in the
they are.
twilight zone.
They are,
They're
though.
balling this year. Yeah. But who would
Yeah,
have
it makes you feel like 1992 all of a sudden.
yeah,
But
it's just weird. Like even like you said, if you said the 49ers are balling, like if you didn't watch football, you'd be like, oh, what the hell? Like,
yeah,
no.
these guys are living in the past.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a really weird year in general.
But I mean, think about it for the Patriots this season. They shut down the Steelers with Big Ben. That's what a lot of people miss in that one. Big Ben was playing the entire game against the Patriots, and they still shut them to only 3 points.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I'm not saying that they've had the easiest cakewalk. I'm just saying if you compare their schedule to the 49ers, it's definitely easier.
The 49ers have had a little bit stiffer of a season thus far, but I think the best team that they've played is the Seahawks. The Rams have proven to not be worth a fuck this season.
Yeah. The Seahawks beat the shit out of us.
Well, I mean, in all
Oh,
fairness,
you said
you've
the
said,
Rams. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. In all fairness, the everybody's beating the Falcons,
Yeah,
but
I don't know what's wrong, man.
it's terrible. I hate it. I hate it for you.
Oh man, if Tennessee didn't start balling out, I'd probably have the worst year I would have had probably forever.
You know them Vols. Whew.
God Almighty, so there. JG's out, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Really, what happened with him?
He ended up having to have surgery. He's out for the year. Which, granted, we went into that game me not thinking we had one quarterback because Meyer was on the sidelines. I left that game thinking we had three quarterbacks because JG played one hell of a game.
He did play a hell of a game this past
Considering he
week.
screwed us all year. But I keep thinking back if Meyer would have started the first of the year, like we might only have like one or two losses. Because our defense is there. You've seen it. We ran the ball so much, we became predictable. Even though we got freshman quarterbacks now, we got Meyer and Schrapp, but still, those kids are not afraid to throw the ball, and that opens up the field. And you saw what happened this last week. He started slinging the ball. Jennings had 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. Number one, what's his name? Callaway. He had 2 touchdowns and a punt return for a touchdown.
It looked like Dobbs was back there again.
Dude, I mean, arguably, we've got one of the best receiver groups in NCAA football, and we was not getting them the ball until Mississippi State game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But as much as we like to put it on JG and stuff like that, the defense did let the Georgia State running back run all over them.
But if you don't remember that game, they were so far lined up, just crazy. Like they was not together. I think they finally have been coached up. It was that defensive coordinator's first time ever being a defensive coordinator. I mean, he had a lot of shit going against him. I was ready to fire his ass, to be honest with you. After that game, after watching them line two people up on the far left side and nobody on the line and shit like that, I was like, this dude needs to be fired. But, dude, the last 3 weeks, they've looked like a dominant defense. I mean,
they've actually looked like a team. Yeah, that's the thing. They played like a fucking team.
I love it. I sang Rocky Top for the first time Saturday.
Oh, really?
I mean, I was singing it out loud. So I was pumped when they blocked that last punt. I
Oh
knew it was
yeah.
over.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, oh shit, beating South Carolina's ass. And right after they beat Georgia, it even makes it even better.
Yeah. So by NCAA football math, does that mean Tennessee should be in the top 10?
No.
I mean, that's the way it works in MMA math, apparently.
Yeah, but Georgia still beat our ass.
No,
And
I know. I'm just joking. I don't flood me with at mentions or whatever because I know I'm just fucking around.
top 75. I'll
Top
give them that.
75. Hey, that's good for them.
Yeah, I think honestly, with our schedule, we've got UAB, Mizzou, Kentucky, Vandy. We got to win 3 to be bowl eligible, which is fucking crazy that we're even talking about that right now.
And it's doable.
Yeah, I think they can run the table. I'm pretty confident they can beat 3 of those 4 teams because our first of our schedule was crazy, and we had Bama, Florida, Georgia, boom, 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 boom. I think we can do it, and if we make a bowl game this year, that's huge going
Yep.
into next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you think about the fact that Tennessee dropped 2 early games that they had no business losing.
Yeah.
And you factor in for next season, they probably won't drop those 2 again. You're looking at a potential 9-10 win team next year.
Yeah, and not to mention that we've only really lost like 1 or 2 recruits. It could be a lot worse based on where we started. We recently signed all 3 of those 4-star linebackers out of Memphis. We're
Yep.
we're absolutely our recruiting class is stacked still. How in the world he could lose 3 straight and still recruit 4 or 5-star players just is a testament to prove it.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely seemingly keeping the ship afloat. Um, Other schools not been so lucky. We've been seeing the rumors coming out of Michigan and then finally confirmed that Jim Harbaugh's leaving.
It's his time, man.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't done shit with that program.
And
He
this was
came
the
in
year they were supposed to do something too.
and he came in with so much promise and so much hope and hasn't really delivered on anything.
Yeah.
You do you think he might go back to the NFL?
No, I think he'll be gobbled up immediately. There's so many college teams that would love to have just the name on their sideline. You know what I mean?
I'm sure there are NFL teams that would love to have him on their sideline as well.
Only sideline I see him getting on is maybe the Ravens with his brother. That would be pretty cool. Have him like maybe the offensive coordinator,
But
defensive
but
coordinator.
he's a head coach.
Yep.
He's
But man, can you imagine both Harbaughs coaching the Ravens? That'd be
I mean,
sick.
it would be nasty, but I don't think that he would want to yield. He's a head coach. You wouldn't want to go be an assistant under your brother.
It'd be a little weird, but if you gave me a few $1,000,000 and I didn't have any of that pressure on me, I might take it. Especially after the shit I've been through the last few years. I'm
I
not
think
really. He's like kind of like a Walmart. He's not really a Target at this point.
I think um the timing of it with him willing to walk away and all that stuff and let it be a mutual decision to part and all that has to do with the fact that Jason Garrett's on such a hot seat in Dallas. I think Harbaugh's eyeing the Cowboys job.
It's a possibility. They took Dooley when Dooley was let go. I mean, Jason Garrett's not really done much at Dallas in a long time. I mean, this year they were all over him like, "Oh, we're the greatest team ever." And I told you, I said they ain't played no damn body. And look what's happened since. They haven't won since they've actually got a decent schedule. Um, yeah, Garrett's gone. Quinn, he should have been gone. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. He should already been gone. There's a few other coaches that are leaning in that direction, but I think those are the 2 that are. Well, Arizona already fired their coach today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He didn't last.
No, who was it that?
It was the guy from Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes' college
Yeah.
coach. I can't remember his name though.
I
They
don't.
just hired him in the offseason after Bruce Arenas went to Tampa.
Yeah, they did. It says. Oh, I'm sorry. I read this completely wrong.
Oh,
The University of Arizona.
oh, big difference there, Justin.
Oh, I just looked it up to see what his name was. Yeah, I just saw Arizona's coach got fired, and I know how shitty they were doing, so I was like, that makes sense. Yeah,
I,
it's University of Arizona.
I was thinking, damn, that's kind of harsh. He just got hired at the beginning of the season. They didn't give him any time.
Yeah, well, a damn Arizona coach got fired. That's all that matters.
Well, I guess, but wrong one for our conversation.
Yeah. Before we get any further, let's go ahead and do that little segment. Since it's Halloween,
Okay.
I got a segment called Trick or Treat. It can be
Okay.
one or two things, something that's just blowing your mind, that's just great right now, and something that's just garbage right now. It's terrible. It can be anything.
Okay.
I'll get started. Of course, I'm going to say the trick is my Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to bash the shit out of them. They're terrible. I'm kind of hoping they don't win another game so we can get a top draft pick. I mean, that's really the only damn hope I got this year. And that's my trick for this season. They're absolutely garbage. Them and the Dolphins would be one hell of a game.
Okay. I'm more so looking forward to the Bengals and the Dolphins, but
Yeah.
I think the Falcons and the Dolphins would be a spirited competition as well. Okay, so are you gonna go ahead and do your treat, or do I do my trick now?
I'll do the treat. I'll say first of all, I'm not huge into baseball, but seeing titties on live TV during a baseball game is a pretty good treat. That really made the whole baseball experience better, and the fact that where it's live TV, they couldn't blur it out. So basically, how many people saw titties on TV? Kids and
Oh,
everybody.
millions and millions. And that's fun and great, and I definitely appreciate it. Kudos to those two ladies. I'm sure you got a ton of likes and follows because of this stunt. But you know, I don't know. It kind of rubs me the wrong way because that's a huge look at me attention grab moment because
Yeah,
they're both their professions are Instagram models.
yeah, they were both smoking hot.
They're gorgeous girls, but they did it to steal attention and probably monetize off of it because now they're going to get more sponsorship revenue because more people are going to be looking at their sites. That's how the algorithms work and that's how they get paid. So this little stunt that got them banned from baseball and all that shit, that's essentially what's going to pay them for the next year or so.
Yeah, they don't care about baseball.
No, not one bit.
I've got a couple other treats. I'm going to talk about a team that's in the SEC that's not. First of all, I was going to say Tennessee. We talk enough about them.
Sure.
Uh, LSU, man, God Almighty, I
Fantastic.
think they might win it all.
They
I'm not.
leapfrogged Alabama in the latest top 25 to number one.
Yeah, I'm not. I wasn't going to say Bama or Clemson because that's too obvious. But LSU from last year to this year, what a jump! They've been taking recruits from everybody, including Tennessee. Uh, they're absolutely balling out right now. And like I said, I think if this might be the year that they beat Bama in the SEC championship game. Well, they don't even get to play Bama in the SEC championship game. So I think they beat Bama though when they go up head to head in a few weeks. I'm not sure exactly what week they play, but I'm taking LSU.
I'm kind of on that train too. I think that LSU has the better team all around. I think Tua has been banged up a little bit this year, and he's not been as impressive. It's almost as if they're starting to figure out his tendencies a little more, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not setting the world on fire like he did the first few seasons that he played there in Bama.
I mean, Tennessee had his number. They picked him off. I don't know how many times they hurt him. And once he got hurt, that just shows Bama's weakness.
Oh
That
yeah,
backup quarterback was not impressive at all. I mean, he still put up a few points, but he ain't no Tua. And if that comes down to Tua having to set out at all, Bama's done for.
that's true. All right, so my trick. Um, the Washington Nationals fans last night in Game 5. President Trump was there in a suite or whatever before the game, and he was mentioned by the home PA announcers as, "Hey, look who's here, President Trump," and all the fans booed. That's fine. I don't care about that. Whatever. It's disrespectful, but that's your right to boo or cheer. What really bugged me was the fans that had the impeach Trump signs and banners and anything like that they were holding up and flashing around, and they were chanting obscenities and stuff like that. That's disrespectful. Those people came to the game knowing that Trump was going to be there and knowing that they wanted to start shit.
Yeah.
The people that just booed at the side of them and then moved on from it, yeah, you don't like the guy, you boo him, and then you move on. It doesn't interrupt your baseball experience. It doesn't interrupt your life. The people that planned to bring shit, fuck those people.
Yeah, I mean, you live more than likely either they've traveled there just to do that stupid shit, or they live there. And if you don't like the president, then why in the hell are you living in the president's backyard?
Well,
Get
I
the
mean,
hell.
a lot of people work there, so
I know, but hell, I mean, like you said, it's USA. If you don't like it, get out and vote. That's
nah, I didn't go that far, but if you don't like them, boo them, move on. You don't have to go out of your way to be an asshole and try to again steal attention on yourself. I feel like I've been negative on these fans, the Washington National fans, this whole time, and I mean maybe rightfully so. They've been pretty nasty.
yeah. I mean, I guess you know somebody that don't win it often, that's not used to that spotlight, comes in there and shows their ass. That
Yep.
makes the difference between a winning organization and the Washington Nationals. They
Yeah,
don't know
act
how to
like you've
act.
been there. Act
Yeah,
like you've been there
exactly.
before. It's definitely fallen apart, and I don't think it's the team necessarily. The team has been fine. It's their fans. Their
Yeah,
fans don't know how to act in a big game scenario, especially when they lose. You notice that none of this shit happened in when they were up 2-0 in this series. Everything only started, getting bad whenever they went down 3-2 last night. That's
yeah.
whenever their fans started getting in fights and shit like that. Anyway, I don't want to harp on them too bad, but that was my trick. My treat is that on yesterday, Sunday, the Patriots beat the Browns, and it was Bill Belichick's 300th career victory as a head coach.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. He's only the third in NFL history to hit the 300 mark. Shula and Halis are the other two. Um, his first win as a head coach was for the Cleveland Browns against the New England Patriots in Foxborough.
Came full circle.
So his first and his 300th victories were both in Foxborough with the same two teams playing. He only flipped the two teams. So that's pretty cool.
That's crazy. Considering they only play 16 games a year, that's impressive. If you said that in basketball or baseball, you'd be like, yeah, it's pretty good, but whatever. But when it comes to football, that's really, really good.
Yeah, I don't know how many times he's coached against the Browns in his career or what other numbers might line up or whatever, but I know 1 in 300 for sure do. Another treat that I want to throw in there is the 2009 Patriots versus the quarterbacks of 2018. That great draft class that everybody was so hyped about: Mayfield, Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen. Together, those guys that I just mentioned are 51 of 109. That's 46.8% on the season for 530 yards, one touchdown, and 9 interceptions. Not very good.
No,
So um, that's
you're
that defense.
you're talking
The,
about Brady. You said 2008.
yeah, the quarterbacks of the 2018 draft class.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
All the hyped up ones that everybody was so, oh, these are the next best guys that are gonna be in the NFL. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold,
Yeah,
Josh
they're all
Allen, Josh Rosen. The four guys that were like the top picks in that draft class,
All mediocre.
all against the Pats defense. They they've done all that stuff that I just said. 1 touchdown, 9 interceptions. A
Jeez,
cumulative passer rating of 30.
that's ridiculous.
That gets you fired.
Yeah.
And that leads me to wanting to talk about the trade rumors for Tom Brady. Obviously, several teams need a quarterback, and they've been trying to spin lately that Tom Brady might be getting traded.
Never happened.
Never happened. You don't see him ever playing in another uniform.
No, they wouldn't have got rid of Garoppolo if that was the case. And not only that, they, after Favre did that bullshit where he kept coming back, I think that was kind of a good example of what happens. Tom Brady's not going to leave that system he's in and go somewhere else and be seen as less than what he is. He's going to leave a legend, just like Brett Favre should have done. When Brett Favre came back to Minnesota, it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth personally, because even though I know he was great, I saw how shitty he did at the end, and he should have never came back.
Well, he was also kind of screwed out of a starting job in Green Bay.
Yeah, but I mean, Tom Brady's not in that situation. I'd go out head high as a Patriot and leave it at that. I mean, if he ever decided to come back to football, nobody's going to turn him down at the Patriots. He's a legend over there, just like Drew Brees is in New Orleans.
But as a player, you don't have the luxury of being like, oh, I'm not going to trade myself. If Robert Kraft picked up the phone and said, hey, let's make a deal for Tom Brady, you give me your 6 best players, I'll give you the greatest player of all time. Who's to say somebody's not going to do it?
It'll never happen. They would have, dude, that city would have Kraft. He wouldn't be able to leave that stadium. It would never happen.
You know what you just did, Justin?
What's that?
You proved my point that Tom Brady is not just a system quarterback. If he was a system quarterback, you would trade him for the best players imaginable and plug in any Joe Schmo to play quarterback because that's your system.
I mean, but that's Tom Brady's system. That's Tom Brady's offense. I mean,
Everybody says it's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is the system leader.
No,
everybody wants to throw up that one season that Matt Castle had that he did pretty decent. They want to throw that in there and not acknowledge the fact that Matt Castle has been in the NFL for 10 years after that season.
Yeah, let's put it this way. If I was a pizza maker and I was a pizza maker for 15 years, you best believe I'd be spinning that shit down my arm, behind my head, between my legs, because I would know exactly how to make that damn pizza at that pizza place the best ever. Okay, Tom Brady's ran this offense a million times. He could go home and close his eyes and probably run this offense. That's just as much Tom Brady's offense as it's Bill Belichick's. You can't take anybody off the street, and it's the same thing almost anywhere. But New Orleans is not New Orleans, but New England is even worse because Tom Brady I don't think's been hurt, but maybe a handful of times, and he got suspended for that few games. Deflategate or whatever. But it's just as much Tom Brady's offense as it is Bill Belichick's.
Well, if that's true, then Tom Brady could go wherever he wanted, whoever's going to pay him the most, and replicate his success there.
I just don't see it, man. There's a few quarterbacks I don't ever see doing it. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Those 3 quarterbacks right off the top of my head, I don't ever see doing that. But then again, I didn't see Brett Favre doing it either. I just don't see it happening, man.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't see that Tom Brady's going anywhere else either. I'm just trying to stir the pot a little bit, but it just proves my point that he's the people that say that he's just a system quarterback. The fact that the Patriots keep employing a 40-plus-year-old quarterback tells you that he's more than that. Nobody can read a defense like Brady can and kill a play and audible and change it up at the line and have the success that he does. That's something unique that only certain players, Breeze, Brady, Manning when he still played, Peyton, not Eli. Um, Favre, you mentioned him. Only a select few guys have that gift.
Yeah, it's the same thing when Peyton Manning left Indianapolis. I mean, he was still young. He didn't come back from retirement or nothing like that. But I think once he got traded, he was kind of downhill from that point. He was not the same quarterback at Denver as he was in Indianapolis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what's funny is he made it to 2 Super Bowls and won one in Denver.
Yeah, but you'll never, if you like when you get old, you'll never remember Peyton Manning at Denver. You'll always remember Peyton Manning at the Colts.
Tennessee. Oh,
Yeah, well, yeah, Tennessee too, of course. I know this made me think of Peyton Manning's forehead made me think of this. I got to bring it up before I forget.
okay.
Did you see LeBron James losing his hair during the ball game?
I did see something about that, but we've known for years that he had some sort of fix or whatever going on up there because he had lost his hair by the time he was 20.
Yeah, it was funny, man, because he kept falling out, and he looked over. They got a picture of Anthony Davis, and LeBron James like had a hold of his headband, kind of like holding his hair on.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis's eyes he was dying, man, like dying inside laughing. Dude, it was hilarious. You got to go back and try to catch a few of those videos.
Yeah, I saw some of the stills from it, and I mean, it's funny looking. I mean, I guess it 100% explains why he always wears the headbands.
I'm telling you, if I'm as good as LeBron James, I don't care what my hair looks like.
You know, a lot of these pro athletes do that, though. Wayne Rooney, soccer player for England, he was balding as can be. And then the next time he was seen in public, he had a full luscious locks of hair because he went and got plugs. He went and got surgically inserted plugs, and hair just grew where he was bald.
It's so stupid, man. Like that's why I think I like Anthony Davis, man. He's got that unibrow, and he will not shave it for nothing. He don't care. He knows it looks goofy, but that's his trademark. You know what I mean? That's him.
That's his thing, yeah.
I don't know, man. I wish I had enough money to be stupid. I guess you'd say.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to be able to get away with something like that, but it
We'd
is what
have
it is.
we'd have a banging studio, and I'd fly us in all together on Mondays, so we could like record in our studio.
And I'd have a badass mullet and an El Camino.
Dude, I'm dying to grow a mullet. I just
Dude,
know
just do it.
it's going to take too long.
Just let that shit grow, man.
I'm already upset I shaved my beard, and now it ain't growing back nothing. It was actually pretty decent. Now it's dead.
Yeah, I noticed that you trimmed up. You're trying to look all presentable, I guess.
Dude, I could take my beard and come up and then go up past my eyes. That's how big it got.
Oh,
And then
jeez.
I was itching one day. I was like in bed and I was like going like this, and like it was killing me. And it was like 2 in the morning, dude. And literally, I just in like early as shit. Then when I woke up, I was like, "Oh my god, what did I do?"
What have I done? That's 6 months of growth laying in my bathroom floor.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll grow back.
Yeah, that's the good thing about facial hair in general. It'll grow back. It's no big deal.
Some people, not with LeBron James.
Well, yeah, apparently not. His shit is all fucked up and he has to super glue it on.
Look at Jason Witten though. My boy that started losing his hair right out of Tennessee because wearing that helmet all the time. And what he do? He just shaved it bald. He's bald as all get out now. Just embrace it, man. God gave you that. Embrace it.
Yeah, but I think Jason Witten's the wrong person to reference whenever you say embrace the bald because we remember what he wore on his head during Monday Night Football last year. Come on now.
What was that?
He had that big fucking part combed over and all that shit.
He tried to cover it a few times, but now he's bald.
The whole season. He wore the toupee the whole season.
He embraced it. Now, yeah, whenever he was doing the broadcasting, he did try to look presentable, I guess you would say. But it was obviously not his hair, yeah.
Nothing wrong with it being bald on TV. Fuck it. Embrace it.
That's what I say, but
oh shit. We were talking before we came on about those and this could be another one of our tricks if you want. The high school program that had to get shut down because they allowed a player that was suspended to play under a fake name.
They
This
should
was
have.
this was a 7-0 team, a team that was, good, a winning team that obviously should have known better.
Yeah. Rules are rules. Once you get into high school, there's nothing. Even middle school, I mean, TSSAA has strict rules. Sometimes they're ridiculous. Like Marley playing basketball, once she stepped foot in varsity, she cannot do anything outside of school sports. Like other than me, her dad letting her shoot, stuff like that. If anybody's having a practice, we have to leave because in case somebody will call me like, "Hey, Marley was at a practice," even though she wasn't practicing, I could
Mm.
still get her in trouble. There's rules are rules, and you can't have a stud, especially a running back. You can't have a stud running back and not change his name to Joe Smith and him ball out in that first game, which he did. And then the next week he's not there, and everybody's like, "Damn, where's that dude that balled out last week?" I mean, that's common sense, man. They deserve everything and more that they get.
Yeah, they had him listed on the roster as a freshman, and the kid's like a junior or senior or whatever. And they had him under the wrong name. And then when they were caught, they tried to backtrack and be like, "Oh, well, he set out for the jamboree. We thought that counted." It's like,
Bull.
"Oh, okay. Well, what about the fake name, jackass?"
Yeah, they knew the TSSAA makes it very clear. They knew that he couldn't play in that damn game. There was no ifs and buts about it. But like I said, why didn't nobody ask questions after that? Like, damn, hey, they got this kid that's a crazy good running back. Oh, really? They didn't have him when we played. They got so and so.
Right.
I
And
mean,
I'm sure that's what prompted it, because the team that or the game that was in question was the first game of the season.
hmm
He was suspended for one game because he got in a fight during last year's state championship game or whatever. So he was supposed to miss the first game. Now the team is 7-0, and that's just now coming to light. And it's probably because of what you just said. Other people talking like, "Where's that freshman that balled out against us?"
now you
Like,
know how he got caught, right?
no, what?
He has a tattoo, and somebody saw the tattoo watching game tape. He had the exact same tattoo, and that's how they caught him.
How are high school kids all tatted up like that?
Dude, I know Science Hill has like their whole football team's tatted up.
No shit.
Yeah, the kids nowadays are getting tattoos at like 15, 16. Crazy.
Whoa.
We got kids at the boxing gym that are like one kid's like 13 or 14 years old. He's got a tattoo.
Jeez.
Different than when we were in school, man. But they did. He had a tattoo on his arm, and somebody saw it watching game film, and they caught it in.
No fucking way.
I swear.
How can you identify a tattoo in a grainy fucking game film?
Like you said, I mean, although it's not common, kids have tattoos, and if a kid's got a tattoo, more than likely it's going to be noticeable.
I guess, yeah, man. Fuck. That just blows my mind. I can't fucking believe that.
Yeah, I know wouldn't make him wear sleeves if you're going to be that sneaky. You
I
can't make him
mean,
wear a sleeve or something. Yeah,
these guys deserve everything they get for cheating and knowingly cheating and all that stuff, but it's just comical at this point how dumb they were about it. They didn't even try.
yeah, it's stupidity. It's
And if your team's that good, if you're all that, why not just own up, take the suspension? Your first game of the year is probably not a real tough one anyway.
they actually were playing a tough team because they made it to state the previous year. But in high school football, you can win like 6 games and make the playoffs. I mean, you don't have you can drop 2, 3, 4 games. You know what I mean?
But they probably were trying to maintain state rankings.
Yeah,
They want
probably.
to be number one in the state. They don't want to lose a game and drop to five.
They can't all be like Elizabeth and Cyclones who were number one in the state and did it the right way.
Oh shit. Hey, last week you said something about the head coach shoving kids on the ground multiple times and everybody pointing and laughing. I mean, that sounds like something that I could throw a red flag on and get everybody suspended for.
It was hilarious. He didn't like throw him. He literally just like pushed him, like nudged him out there. But he was in such excitement when he did it. The kid stumbled, and then the kid kept stumbling. It was funny. But I want to do a treat. Now that we're talking about high school football, I told you about this. I sent you a message about this. What about the kid that had 9 rushing attempts and had 475 yards and 8 touchdowns?
Yeah, yeah. I mean that kind of thing happens all the time. It's
Yeah.
not that big a deal. I
Where's this
mean,
kid going to college?
oh, this is. I thought you were talking about my Madden profile.
No, this is real life. This is real life. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because those are video game stats, 100%. Like that's
First of all,
insane.
first of all, you had to have bad field position every time, like
Right.
in the 20 to get that many yards. Secondly, you had to bust every single run but one out. I think somebody said that he was averaging 51 yards per carry. I mean,
God,
who was he
dog.
playing? Like a blind team, middle school?
It had to be something like that. Either that or this is a kid that's like a standout athlete from the middle of nowhere, like a Randy Moss from the middle of nowhere, hole in the wall town.
Yeah, I guarantee you in the next few weeks we hear more about it because he will be, if he wasn't already recruited, just because of that stat, he will now be a college football player.
Oh yeah, he'll be the next running back for the University of Alabama, and then he'll go on to the NFL and have a lackluster career.
I hope not. Dear God.
I mean, that's the way it usually goes.
Yeah, Alabama does that. They always have. Mark Ingram's probably my favorite running back, and he's underrated. I think Mark Ingram can run the hell out of the ball. He's very underrated, but
I thought the Saints took a big hit when they let him go.
that was stupid. I agree. That was. I love Kamara. I think he's one of the best in the league, but he is not a 3 down back.
Having Kamara and Ingram was a nasty combo. I guess they just couldn't afford them. I guess that's what it boils down to. But
Now he's
because
what,
they had to,
Ravens?
they had to pay Thomas.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
that goes back to the previous conversations that we've had. When you have to pay these big time players, you can't afford to keep the other good players that you have. And
I
now they
kind of
have Latavius Murray as their backup, which he's balled out the past 2 weeks when Kamara's been injured. But
yeah, he's not bad. He ain't Mark Ingram though. Mark Ingram, he kind of runs angry. He's like a little bowling ball.
mm,
It reminds me of I don't know if you remember Burner Turner, Michael Turner for the Falcons. He's short, heavy. He's probably like 240, but he couldn't be tackled. He's like literally like a bowling ball running downhill. He didn't have nothing fancy. He just ran straight ahead and would get first downs left and right. And I got the jersey of him, man. I love that dude. But after like a few good years, he just kind of, I guess all them hits kind of wore him down. He kind of didn't do much. He had about 3 good years in him.
yeah, I mean that's still more than a lot of guys get. But let's see, what else do we have on our clearing the bench? We're going to talk about MLB awards and stuff when Zach comes on, so I'm not going to talk about that now. Um, oh, here we go. The UFC 244. I'll probably talk more about that with Zach, but what's your thoughts on all this? The on again, off again main event with Masvidal and Diaz.
I don't know. Last time I heard Diaz, I read that he left, like he wasn't going to fight. And
Mm-hmm.
then I read that he got cleared, and then I read again that he wasn't going to fight. I mean, is he going to fight now or?
As far as I know, it's back on. It seems like they're still promoting it. Let me pull up UFC.com and see if they're still promoting it on their official website. But what it was is basically Nate failed a drug test for something that's in one of his legal supplements. And as soon as they told him, hey, you've popped for this test or whatever, instead of going on and fighting the fight and then having the results announced after the fight and
Mhm.
making it look like he knowingly went in to fight a fight with a failed drug test on his system, he said, "No, fuck that. I didn't take anything. Your test is fucked up. I'm not fucked up." And he's like, "I'm clean." And Masvidal backed him up and was like, "Look, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. I know you're clean. It is what it is. We'll figure it out." Um, and then I guess they tested it further, figured out that it wasn't anything that was on the ban list. It was just something that was flagged in one of his organic products that he uses or whatever, and they said that he was cleared and good to go for the fight. And I'm looking at the UFC website right now, and it's looking like it's all on.
Good. I think I love Nate Diaz, man. And anytime he's fighting, I'm gonna have to pull for him because even if somebody's more talented, he's shown time and time again that he's got that chance, man. He's just the way he fights, bro. I love both the Diaz brothers. I like all the shit talk. I like the whole package. And I think Diaz is going to prove himself once again. He's going to get some more money because he still is not getting paid anything like McGregor and all them other guys when he definitely should be.
I agree. He is a top tier draw in the UFC. Um, it'll be interesting to see. Like this is a fight that you could literally flip a coin and the coin could call who wins,
Uh-huh.
because I could see Masvidal coming in and knocking him out, coming with his street background where he's gonna throw some bombs and stuff. But Nate likes to sit back and let you throw, and then he's gonna counter punch you and counter slap you.
Uh-huh.
If I I want to give Nate the advantage on the ground.
Yeah, he's definitely got the ground advantage, but I don't think it'll go to that. I think it'll be a street fight in a cage.
I think you're right. I think that's how this is going to be fought. I think it's going to be a stand up war. Um, oof,
It's gonna be fun to
puncher's
watch.
chance. Yeah, it'll be a great one. If you had to bet money on one, you're going Nate.
Nick,
Nick's not in the fight.
I thought it was Nick Diaz.
No,
Oh
it's
yeah,
Nate.
no, Nate Diaz. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Oh God, I don't know. I was thinking. Yes, I'm going Nate.
Nick Diaz
It's
first
his
landed
brother.
on. Yeah, it's his brother. He first landed on my radar, and I first heard of the Diaz brothers through Nick when he landed a Go Plata.
Yeah, I remember that. I think he's a better fighter. To be honest with you, well-rounded fighter than Nate.
I think he is too. He's had some bad breaks along the way, but Nate has that personality that just it attracts people, and people love
Mhm.
it. Either you love it or you hate it. It's kind of like a Conor McGregor. You either love him or hate him.
I love it. I don't like Conor McGregor's, but I like his, and I'm taking Nate in that fight.
I think I want to lean with Nate too. I like Masvidal. I think he's a gangster, but I think Nate's gonna just outlast him. Basically,
Uh, I
we'll
think so.
see. It'll
It's
be
gonna be
fun.
it'll be a good one. And I don't know if you ever saw this, but uh, Nick, what made me like him even more is there was a special needs guy. He had Down syndrome. It's an older guy. He's probably 25, 26 years old. And he trained with Nick. Nick trained him. And he always wanted to fight. So Nick got in the ring with him. They had a huge fight. And there was like thousands of people there. Well, the main event was Nick versus this kid with special needs.
Hmm.
And he like really like made the kid work. Like he got in positions and made him roll him over and do different things. And then he let that Down syndrome kid win and raise his hands. That kid was jumping on the cage, and they I don't know, they pulled my heartstrings. I was like, damn, this gangster's really got a heart too.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
that's the thing. Nate teaches kids jujitsu.
yeah, that's kind of why I like him. They run their mouth in the ring, but outside of the ring, they don't pull none of the shenanigans that McGregor pulls.
I agree. It seems like they know it's more for show. And then behind closed doors, like you said, you don't hear about them. You don't hear about Nate Diaz getting in trouble when he's in Stockton.
All they do is smoke weed.
They smoke weed, chill, do jujitsu with kids.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Speaking of all the people in California, while we were talking about Stockton, shout out to all of our California listeners. I hope you guys are staying safe amidst that fire. I
Yeah,
know it's bringing up a lot of terrible memories of the fires from last year, where a lot of people, I believe it was Paradise and the Chino area in California that got burned up real bad last year. And it seems like once again, fires are ravishing that state. Every year,
yeah.
it's like that.
It's so dry, man. Uh, they need some rain. I don't know. They need a better way of watering all the trees and different things because it rains there what, like maybe a handful of times a year.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't rain much, but Chris from Locker Room Talk actually does something like this for his job. And he said something on one of their podcasts a long, long time ago, and it made a lot of sense to me. And you know how you're driving down the road and you'll see like a cut in the trees where it's just a big straight line with no trees at all. It's just like a field in
mhm,
between in between rows of trees.
mhm.
Those are cut intentionally. That's called a fire break. It's
Yeah,
so that if that batch of trees catches fire, that break is there to not allow it to jump to the next batch of trees. And California, apparently, they don't cut their fire breaks like that.
yeah, it's, I mean, something has to be done. Even if it's just like once every few weeks, have a plane fly by and drop water on stuff. You know what I mean? Just to get it
Yeah.
wet. Because you could
That,
literally flip a cigarette out and cause the biggest wildfire ever in California.
yeah, but then imagine you're just walking down the street and a helicopter dumps fucking water on you.
It'd be
That
funny as
that could kill
shit.
somebody.
It'd be funny as shit though.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you would laugh if you were sitting there smoking your cigarette and all of a sudden 400 tons of water fell from, you know, 1,500 feet.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd laugh like a son of a bitch, dude. I would
Yeah,
die. I would die laughing.
it'd kill you.
Eh, I don't mean like on the streets, but you know, like the fire goes from city to city out in like the main area, like the it's not a wilderness, but you know, they do have areas that are a lot of trees. You know, they would have to put out something like, hey, on this day at this time, we're going to do a dump here, blah, whatever. And if people are stupid enough to go out there, then yeah, they're going to get their ass doused. But
I just think this is a terrible idea. Just I'm just picturing helicopters flying over LA just dumping water down Sunset Boulevard.
and you see like a red carpet event, and like 2 tons of water hits all the celebrities. Hey,
Jesus.
speaking of that, this is totally off the subject, but have you ever heard of McCamey Manor?
No.
Okay, this is crazy. I've heard about it a few years ago, and if you go to YouTube and type in McCamey Manor unedited, they've got the videos. It's a guy. He used to be in California. Now he lives in Summertown, Tennessee, and it's a haunted house. Well, it's a haunted experience. Basically, if you can get all the way through the 8 hours, he'll give you $20,000 cash. Okay, nobody's ever got through it, and all you got to pay to get in is a bag of dog food. Okay, in order to go through it, you got to have a doctor's note. You got to be seen by a psychiatrist. Basically, you got to be checked. Your mind, everything's got to be cleared, as well as your body. Basically, they make you fill out your fears. You sign a 40-page waiver telling you you can break bones. I mean, it's crazy. They kidnap you, tape you, drag you through puddles. They make you feel like you're drowning, and everything's like a psychological thing, right? They make you eat like nasty food. They they shave your hair off, like women's hair off. They smack you around. I mean, just crazy, dude. And you'll see like U.S. Marines and stuff that'll come through there, be like, "Oh, this ain't nothing. I'm gonna beat this," you know. And then, of course, I'll end up freaking out and quitting, like, you know, damn hair missing and bruises and cuts all over them. Dude, you got to check it out, dude. It is sick, and I don't know how they get away with it, but they've been doing it for I think 10 years now, and it's 100% legal. But it's basically like you're paying somebody to torture you.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Not one
20
bit.
grand. 20 grand though.
Yeah, I don't care.
If you
Not not worth it.
you should watch the videos though. It's like I spent almost 10 hours the other day, like all day at work watching these videos.
See, just watching the videos would be torture enough for me. I don't
It's
even want to watch it.
yeah, it's weird because like they keep saying it's actors and actors, you know, actors, but still they're like shoving 100-year-old eggs down your throat. And like they shaved this girl's hair and then stuck her hair in the other girl's mouth and stuff like that. It's just crazy, dude, the stuff they could do.
Yeah, no, I'm not interested. Fuck that.
I just want to bring
I
it up. It's
I don't
Halloween,
I
you
don't
know.
yeah, it's Halloween. And that's another thing. I don't really care for the Halloween shit. I don't care for like the scary movies. I like some of the classics, but that's about it. I don't freak out for all the latest horror. Um I don't go overboard for anything for Halloween. Like my kids will go trick or treating, and that's about it. We don't. I don't
I,
know. I just
I
don't get
love
into
scary
it.
movies. I watch scary movies constantly. So what are the kids going to be this year?
Um, I think Emma's gonna be the Queen of Diamonds, and Grayson's going to be Buzz Lightyear.
Nice. We were Buzz Lightyear
Yes,
one year.
solid choices for costumes. I think.
Trenton's going to be the gingerbread man from Fortnite.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. It's expensive and it pissed me off, but I don't know who it is. And
and you shouldn't.
Marley's getting old. She just wants to give out candy. She's in seventh grade, but she was at Walmart the other day and found like a onesie that's got like a unicorn head, and she bought it just so she could wear it to school and just sleep in it or whatever. But she didn't really want to dress up, which is kind of sad because it's the first year she didn't. She wanted to hand out candy instead of going trick or treating. So that's, I guess, my kids are getting old. It's sad
Yep,
day. You'll be there
yep,
very shortly with your daughter.
yeah. Not too much longer. She's 9 now, so not too
Yeah,
much longer. She'll be like, I'm too cool for that.
like
That's
Trenton's
for
going to start
kids,
middle school next year, and I'm afraid this might be his last year. They're wanting to do it.
right?
So I
Eh,
told him, get whatever you want.
but that's cool. Eventually that has to happen. That's part of life. And then before long, they're going to be out egging houses and toilet paper and things and stealing all the kids' candy like we used to do when we were kids.
Yep, and I'll be the one taking them. I'd rather me taking it than doing it on their own.
Yeah, the better chance of them getting caught if they go on their own.
And pile in the back of the truck, kids, let's
Go,
go.
go, go.
That's what my parents used to do. I
Yeah,
remember my dad driving the truck, and he'd sit on the corner, and we'd do our thing. We'd take off running, and he knew as soon as y'all jumped in to take off.
and police, they don't question parents as much as they do the kids.
Exactly. And he'd always tell us, you guys can do whatever you want, but don't egg cars, don't egg houses, and if you're going to roll somebody's house, help them clean it up the next day. And we followed that, but we also did a lot of stuff that we didn't tell him about that we didn't want to clean up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
no, you went a little bit overboard with some stuff, I'm sure.
oh, dude, you don't even know. We did some crazy stuff when we was young. I'm just glad to be able to tell about it. And my kids will never pull nothing over on me.
Yeah, that is one thing about being a little bit of a hell child is you did a lot yourself. So
Hmm.
you know what you're looking for in these kids. See, my wife was pretty much a golden child all her life. Never did anything wrong, never got in trouble, whatever. And then like so whenever the kids are, oh, my stomach hurts, she's like, I think Emma's getting sick. I'm like, she's getting sick. Babe, you gave her a donut for breakfast and then she was saying her stomach hurt and she didn't want to go to school.
Hmm.
She's fine. She scarfed down a donut. She's all right. She didn't throw it up.
Yep, that's how I am. My wife's the same way. She's never drank, never smoked, never done nothing.
Goody
How,
goods, man.
how in the world do we end up with that? I guess that's the opposites attract.
I guess, man. Something. Fuck. Yeah, well.
Well,
Anyway, I'm out of shit to talk about. You got any more tricks or treats?
no, man. Happy Halloween, everybody. Be safe.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are talking about some Halloween stuff over on your podcast.
And ours won't actually post until after, so we did a little bit last week. I actually went and helped Jimmy with his haunted house that he does for the kids at Memorial Park last weekend. Me and Marley went out there. We had a really good time. We had like, I think he said there was like 400 kids that went through.
Oh, cool.
So it's for a good cause, and I got to scare some people, stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
What'd you dress up as?
I just wore a Jason mask, and I'm so big, I'd hide around the corner and pop out, and they'd scream because I'm just a big dude. My daughter, she had a devil's mask that lit up, and she was cool because you couldn't see nothing but the face, and then she would like walk up on them. She had more fun than anybody, and she's scared of her own shadow for some reason. She really got into scaring other people. She loved it.
Maybe because she's always scared. She's finally excited to let others in on her life.
I guess as soon as she'd scare him, she'd turn around and give me a high five. Like I knew she was having a blast.
Oh, that's so cool. Though. That's a fun time for you guys to have.
Yeah, but it's for a good cause. I think it was only like $2 a person to come through, and it all went to the Memorial Center down here that where they have like adult housing and basketball and stuff for the kids. So it's a
Oh,
good
that's cool.
cause.
That's really cool. Jimmy seems to do a lot for the community and give back and stuff.
He does a ton. Yeah,
I've learned a lot about him from listening to your podcast, and I like that stuff.
yeah, he don't quit. I feel
Yeah,
bad.
he's
I don't get to see him often, but I try to.
he's always on the go with something. That's crazy.
I caught
Anyway,
him yesterday, and he was DJing a middle school dance for Saturday. He DJs everything. He DJs, takes pictures of weddings, regular pictures, does haunted houses. He's on the football boosters. I mean, this kid, dude, literally does not stop. I don't know how he does it.
and he still managed to miss the Elizabethton game.
Yeah, because he was building a haunted house.
I know. I
Yeah,
heard. That's so funny. You were giving him hell about it. You're like, of all nights to build the haunted house, you have to do it when Elizabethton's playing Science Hill.
yeah, it was bad.
No,
Oh
but
well.
guys, go check out Justin's other podcast, Into the Woods, with his co-host Jimmy that we were just talking about. It's a good time, and especially if you're a listener from the East Tennessee area and haven't checked them out, definitely check them out. They talk a lot about your local high school football teams and things like that, so you can kind of stay up on what's happening with all the local rivalries.
Yeah, and I
Um,
also want to let you know too. We actually had a guest, Chad Malone, on this last Saturday, and he was on the Ruck Selection, which is the one you see on TV where they carry the bags and they do all the PT and stuff. And he made it. I think he had the top five, and usually nobody or one person finishes. And he was from Washington D.C. He's actually a jiu-jitsu guy and a MMA guy. He has a podcast called The Fight Philosophy.
hmm.
We had him on this past Saturday. Really cool dude. I think everybody will really enjoy that episode.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, everybody definitely go check that out and support that great podcast. Um, Other than that, I'm out of stuff to talk about. So we thank you for listening. Thanks for the download, and tune back in later this week when Zach and I drop our World Series episode. And other than that, we will all be right back here next Monday. Peace.